Art of Worldly Wisdom. Chapter 14. On Content and Form. Substance by itself is never enough. Form also is required. Poor style spoils everything, even reason and justice. Good style makes everything attractive, gilds the know, sweetens the truth, and adds beauty to the ugliness of old age. The how can mean success or failure in your affairs, and an elegant manner steals the heart. Refined behavior sparks joy in life, and a pleasant manner helps in times of difficulty in a surprising way.
I used to be what you would call a content snob. It's strange. I think it's something that you grow up with because you know that you don't have a style yourself, and so you say, well, then style is not important. It's only about, everything is about the content. Of course, I'm a writer, so I would make a point of not taking care of my books, kind of using them and tearing out pages or making markings in them. And some other book lovers would say, oh, you can't do, a book is sacred. You can't do that to a book. And I say, it's not the book. It's what's written in the book. So I was a content snob, right? And I didn't pay attention to dressing, to my personal style. I didn't pay much attention really to my writing style either, frankly. And I didn't pay attention to the style that I have in contact with other people, with social contact with people, interaction, my personal style, how I do things. I did things naturally and I had contact with people, but I didn't pay attention to how I was doing what I was doing. For me, the thing that was more important was the content. And that includes things like small talk, chit chat, just how's the weather, little things like that. Because little things like that, they keep the relationship going and the conversation going, even though they're really boring and no one is interested. No one really wants to know how the weather is. But they talk about it because they want to talk to you. And so it's a way of communicating without any real content. And I didn't like doing that. It bores me and I try to avoid it. And as a result, I came across as a little bit, maybe even arrogant or at least boring. Style really is important, even though for much of my life I hated style, and I still do, and I still can't do it well. When you talk about style, though, you don't talk about a certain kind of style. You're not talking about being a dandy or, dressing well or dressing flashy. Even dressing badly can have its own style. Hippies who with their long hair and, jeans with holes in them, that was also a style. And of course, today in the Western world, young girls will cut holes in their jeans to make it look like they don't care about style. But of course, they do it very carefully and in a very stylish way. It's style. When you design a product designers will tell you you want to design the product with a style that tells the customer what it is and what price range it is. If you buy a generic loaf of bread and the bag just says, this is bread on it, and it's cheaper than other bread, then that style fits the bread. But if you buy a loaf of bread with, some kind of flashy thing and colorful and thing, and it's a more expensive bread, that style, the logo, the layout of the package tells you that it's a more expensive bread. If you switch those around, if you put the cheap package on an expensive piece of bread and have the package look cheap, but it costs a lot, people are not going to buy it. The opposite is also true. If it looks really expensive, if you put a really expensive package on a cheap thing and you sell it cheap, people won't think, I'm getting this for a real good price. Look at this. It's so beautiful and good and it's so cheap. This is a great price. They'll say, there's something wrong with this. If it's going to be cheap, it has to look cheap. Even if it isn't, even if it's really good, even if the quality is really good, it has to have cheap looking packaging. The style fits the content. The style signalizes to the customer what it is they're buying. If you look at a product like Apple, which is really highly designed, Apple iPhones or Apple Mac computers or whatever, they design these products and they design the marketing for the products for a higher price range. They assume immediately that because of all this design that's going into it and all the style that's going into it, fewer people will be able to buy it. That we're going to sell fewer units, but for a higher price. And other phone companies say, well, Apple has abandoned the lower price market segment. Let's go for that market segment. And they intentionally design it less than an Apple. Other phones are not designed as well as an Apple phone because they're not supposed to be. I don't have much style. I never learned it. I was never good at it. But I'm trying now to get more style in what I wear, how I take care of, how I look when I go out on the street. I try to have more style in what I write in letters to people, in personal communication. I try to have more style in my daily life. I try to have more things in my life that are slightly more stylish. For example, a good bottle of whiskey as opposed to a couple of bottles of beer. And the strange thing has happened since I've started doing that. I feel better in my life. I feel like my life has another dimension to it. I feel slightly prouder of my life and who I am than I was when I used to concentrate just on content. Don't underestimate style. Don't underestimate the enormous effort and the energy and the thinking it takes to develop your own style. You can't take a style of someone else and put it, artificially upon you and try to adapt it. It has to be a style that is you and only you and reflects you and only you can do. It's hard to find that. You can. Everyone can. Everyone has a style. But you have to find it. Don't underestimate how difficult it is, and don't underestimate how important it is. Not only for the people around you who want to deal and admire a stylish man or woman, but also for you. Because when you look in the mirror, you want to admire a stylish man or woman. Whatever it is you're doing out there, I encourage you to keep doing it. Be proud of yourself. Do it well. Do it with style. And I wish you all the love, luck, and success in the world.